just in case you guys are turning in, we have Rich Harden of the Double H Canine Training Academy right here on Frankfort Avenue. It's just at the train crossing in Clifton. So if you know where Nancy's Bagels is, or you know where Cafe Classico and the Grape Leaf are, you'll be able to find Double H Canine Training Academy. It's in the old train station store. 3,000 square feet. Is that what you told me?
Yeah, right at it. Yes.
Wow. And it's a whole lot of space, but my gosh, you're getting a whole lot of students in there. And I know a friend of mine whose name is Jaggers has been making tremendous progress under your tutelage.
He's doing very well.
And I think part of that is the fact that his parents are committed to that training, and that's a really important part of what you do.
That is the part of what we do, because any program, you're going to get results to some extent. But if you don't follow through, if the owners don't continue what you start, if you go home and never work your dog again,
what's the point?
It's going to be the same in 6 weeks. They're going to be okay to a level, but they're never going to get to where you want them to be.
Well, and I think that a lot of people expect you to train the dog and expect that to magically, continue when they've left you, and that's just not the case. And I think that a lot of dog trainers have said in the past, if you don't spend at least 10 to 15 minutes a day doing the same commands that you've taught them to do, then they're not going to remember them, because the repetition thing is just so important.
It is. You really have to be committed. It's not once you finish training, once you've gone through a course that takes your dog up to let's say drop leash obedience.
Yes.
If you can maintain 3 days a week for 10 to 15 minutes, your dog will continue to progress and will be awesome.
He's just crawled his way
even Cliff
right out of the picture. I'm going to drop. We might lose the top of your head, but that's okay because Cliff is in the shot. You were just saying, we goof around on Cliff a lot and we joke about him, but he really has made a huge amount of progress since I saw him as a gangly, 3 or 4 month old puppy?
Yes. Cliff, we joke on Cliff a lot.
We do.
But he's actually doing really, really well. We're really proud of where he's going, and especially for the minimum amount of time that we get to work with him, because we battle as dog trainers, and every dog trainer in America, we battle the same thing everyone else is battling. I'm battling puppydom. I'm battling his nose, and so we're managing him and
what
fitting him.
What is he smelling, by the way? Is he? I know what it is. It's Madeline D's restaurant upstairs.
There's a restaurant upstairs. So.
Directly above him, there's a vent, which probably is bringing the delicious smells of fond right downstairs.
So Cliff is no dummy.
And now he's getting up on the couch because he smells other dogs that have been there. Gracie has laid there many a time. Are you comfortable, Cliff? Cliff.
Apparently so.
Hi. Are you comfortable? He's got the most glorious face. I mean, now if I were going to breed a dog, he would be the one I would want to father some beautiful dog's puppies, because he's just a magnificent specimen.
Well, we're hoping he's going to be an intricate part of Phase 2 for what we're going to call Double H Farms, and raising some Labradors and some Dutch Shepherds, and hopefully Jenga has been bred, so we had her inseminated a couple weeks ago.
Oh my goodness!
So hopefully our first litter of puppies is not too far away.
Oh, she's going to produce some gorgeous puppies too. I just have posted on the website, on my Facebook page, the website address for this amazing place, Double H Canine Training Academy. It's right down the street on Frankfort Avenue from Crescent Hill Radio. Rich Harden has been my guest several times on Crescent Hill Radio, and I seem to learn more from him each time that he's here, which is great because, I'm one of those people that learns something and sometimes forgets it, especially when it comes to implementing dog training, because all I want to do is love on them and give them treats. And sometimes it's hard to be stern.
Sometimes it is. We have the same problem all the time. We find ourselves wanting to relax with our dogs in the evening, and especially when they're young and going through training. We can get lax too, and that's what gets in our way every time is our lives. You have a thing called a job and responsibilities, and sometimes our dogs get pushed to the back burner, and that's when problems start to occur.
It is, and I really have a strongly, I just have a really bad feeling toward people who go to work and leave their dogs, especially their puppies, in a crate all day, and I think that probably the minimum thing would be to let a dog walker come in the middle of that day and take the dog out for 20 or 30 minutes. Well, but it just makes me angry.
Well, puppies, they have a rule of thumb is an hour in the crate per month of age. So if you just got a puppy that's 6 or 8 weeks old, a couple of months, you're only looking at 2 hours for that puppy's going to have to go to the bathroom again. So you need to get them out. So you have to look, for other alternatives. If you can't have someone come to your home or you can't make it back, you need to look at long-term confinement. Putting them in the garage in a different penned-up area or kitchen or something where they can't get to things and tear stuff up. But that's really, really important. It's tough. A little dog in a crate's not going to be able to hold it for 5 or 6 hours.
Well, and I wonder what you think about the pee-pee pads that you can put down on the floor for those kind of animals that are caught up and trained. I mean, I would imagine that it would not be the best idea, but when I had to fly with an 8-week-old puppy, I had trained her the week before to go on the pee-pee pad, and when she did, I took one with me and put it down in the airport in Chicago. And she went to the bathroom, and people were just amazed. They're like, "Oh my God, you told her to go, and she went." I said, "I know," and it comes in handy in those situations. I don't think it would be a good long-term solution.
No, I mean, I've had mixed results with clients over the years with puppy pads, and whether they continue going to the bathroom in a house later or not, depending on where the puppy pad is placed.
Right.
But again, if it's your only option for long-term confinement, then that may be an option. You just have to make a decision what's right for your family and for you when you look at those kind of things. But Cliff, he's not spent much time on the crate. Luckily, when he gets to take him to work every day, I'm pretty fortunate. So.
Yeah. Well, he sits behind the desk and usually answers the phones, which is really fun. And he battles with his sister Jenga for attention because when I come into the store to the training academy, they both are right there ready to go. The difference is when Rich tells Jenga to do whatever it is that he wants her to do, Cliff often does not follow suit, which is endearing, but it also has improved tremendously since the time that you got him. What I'd like to know is when you're training a puppy as opposed to training an adult dog, and especially when you have what they call a bully breed. And I don't know that a bully breed actually exists, but they call them bully breeds, like a pit that's coming from Saving Sunny.
Okay.
What's the difference between training an adult dog and training a puppy?
Well, I'm not sure that in initial imprinting there's much different. You want to imprint the dog for a certain behavior. Mm-hmm. With puppies, my favorite thing to do is capture behavior so the dog actually begins to do something you like, and you reward that without even putting a name to it. So if the puppy comes in front of you and sits down, then I reward it. If he lays down, you reward it. And over time, these behaviors begin to show back up again for you because you're rewarding them through behaviors you like. You're stopping their behavior through that leash management we talked about earlier, tethering our dogs. So you stop those behaviors, and these other ones start to show up.
And you call that capture behavior.
Capturing behavior.
Yeah. Oh, capturing behavior. Mm-hmm. Excellent to
go.
Sure,
absolutely.
When you have a dog that stays inside, I just looked over. He's got his butt on the couch and his forepaws on the ground. That's pretty funny. I'm going to take a picture of that, Rich, while you talk for just a moment. Go ahead and fill the time while I take a picture of him lying there with his butt on the... That one's definitely going on the website, Cliff.
As well it should.
He is just too funny for words, Mike, and he has such a personality, too. Let's talk about the bully breeds just for a minute. And I hate to use that word, but they really do, they take a bad rap.
Well, those dogs, we love them to death. We do a lot of stuff with Saving Sunny, as you know, and we love the breed. We love helping folks get those dogs back out and to be advocate for those breeds. That's the most important thing.
Right.
And the problem is the dogs are so big. When they have bad behavior, it really shows up in that breed.
Yes.
It's not like, we just got a mix schnauzer, mixed with something else, small dog, who's probably more aggressive than a pit bull right now. So, but it's much easier to manage him versus something that weighs 80 to 90 pounds.
Right.
So you have to go back to that early on socialization with these dogs. If you choose that breed, getting early socialization between that first 8 to 16 weeks, your breeder should have already been doing some stuff with your dog to begin with. Mm-hmm. But when you get the puppy at 8 weeks to 16 weeks, that's when all your training, all the positive reinforcement, all the positive experience, all the socialization, taking your puppy places, ride them in cars, trimming their toenails, all those things that you can do now while your puppy's little is much easier to do when he's 90 pounds.
Yeah. And the other thing is what happens when he is 90 pounds and he comes from something like, he comes from Saving Sunny. Let's say he's an adult dog who's been taken out of a horrible pit fighting situation in an area of town that allows that, and Rebecca Eves from the Aero Fund often has to deal with that kind of an animal.
Yes.
And so what kind of tricks and tips can you give us for dealing with the large and sometimes potentially aggressive dog that has kind of been out on the streets and now is being asked to go into a home?
Well, most of the time, they've done some work already in the fostering portion. Saving Sunny does a really good job with their fosters.
They sure do.
Starting what we call foundation training. And foundation training is living with our dogs. 60 to 70% of what we do every day is living with our dogs.
Yes.
Is feeding the dog, taking the dog outside, teaching the dog where to go to the potty at. All those things come into play. Leash management again, how to walk on a leash. All those things come into play in the very beginning. If you don't have good foundations, then you can't get your dog to start doing other things. In other words, now that I can get him to walk on a leash, now maybe I can start imprinting behaviors such as sit or down, because the forward walk of the leash is really, really important. Getting out there, walking on a loose leash, not being pulled down the street, that is the first thing to combat. And once you can get that accomplished, then you can look at all the other things that come in line with that.
Well, we're going to take a quick break for the top of the hour business, and then we're going to come back and just capture a few more moments with our friend Rich Harden from Double H Canine Training Academy right down Frankfort Avenue from Crescent Hill Radio. We're so glad to always have him come in to talk about every kind of possible dog training. And, he really is good about handling things like rescues as opposed to breeding and leash management as opposed to training where to go to the bathroom, all the intricacies that you need to know if you're going to take a dog into your home or if you're going to basically bring dogs into this world, which is a very important part of our animal society, because a lot of people will shun breeders, but there's a reason why they're purebred animals, and there's a reason why they are replicated. So we'll talk about that with Rich Harden right after this on Crescent Hill Radio.
You're listening to WCHQ LP, Louisville, Kentucky, 100.9 FM, Crescent Hill Radio. All local music all the time.
This is Gary Sampson, president of the Kentuckiana Blues Society, and I hope you will check out my show every Friday night at 8 p.m. here on Crescent Hill Radio. The Kentuckiana Blues Radio Show features the best in local and regional blues music. I'll also play any national